Okay, we're going to start off easy and then just get more complicated after this. All right, coding. Really easy to convert over to remote learning because it didn't really require any of the facilities at our studio. So a student just sits down, watches the tutorials, follows along as they create their own projects with coding. And in this case, we're making video games. Each one of the projects that we do are in levels. So level 1, level 2, and level 3. And as you go up the levels, they get more and more complicated. But while I'm talking about this one, I wanted to kind of explain how a student shows their learning in this. What's their proof? What's their body of evidence that they have actually acquired this skill? So in our studios, students would not only show me the project, like a robot that can win a fight or can pick up a piece and move it or something. That's really easy to show your teacher when we are together in a classroom. But this is a little more complicated. So in our room, we always had this little booth where students would go and talk to the camera like I'm talking to you, and they would answer reflective questions on how they're learning. And so we had that booth. So again, that converted over to home really easy because they just simply talked to the camera. And my students were used to that, reflecting on their learning. So with coding, let's take a look at what that looks like. Okay, so let's listen to this student here reflect for just a few seconds on their learning.
So what this work tells about myself and how I learn is one thing for how, like, for my second coding one, I felt like I was more experienced, like I felt more experienced with it because I had already done one, and I kind of knew how to do it. So like I took another step and I created my own, and some of the codes I did for that, like I didn't really look from the steps they gave me. It just I had already because I had already done it before, I was like, okay, so this is all I have to do. I don't need to look at the steps, so I would just easily do it. So
Okay, so you can see now as a teacher, I can now assess their learning in this situation. Okay, so with coding, it was a little bit unique because I can't be there to see it myself. They would just take a screen recording and a walkthrough of what they were doing in this video game. For this case, for level 1, they would then record themselves explaining their programming and how the game works. Let's take another listen to see how this looks.
Hi, my name is Marcus, and this is my Coding Level 1 Tech 2. So basically I did the ghost hunting scratch project, and I made 3 sprites for my game. And so the coding is, when the sprite is clicked, it repeatedly and forever hides, waits 1 second, goes to a random position, and then shows for 1 second. And it does that repeatedly until the time variable runs out.
All right, is it starting to make sense? Isn't it amazing how just through technology and remote learning, I'm still able to assess how they are as a learner as well as the project that they've turned in. And now most of the reflective videos are around 3 to 4 minutes long, and then the project videos where they do a walkthrough is around 5 minutes long as they take me through each one of their coding projects. But let's move on.